Across Europe, the far right is on the rise, taking on governments, promising to end migration and shake up the EU.
I don't want to be part of the minority in my own country.
But are these parties fueling hate?
I think their aims are absolutely dangerous.
I'm Mackenzie, and I'm travelling through the continent to try and understand their success. Meeting the people behind the movements.
Das Land gehört nicht zu Deutschland.
And those fighting to stop them.
We march for Europe. Let's go.
With European elections up ahead, a nationalist alliance is forming.
I wouldn't say we are living in a dictatorship, but there's less and less freedom day by day.
Could this be about to change Europe as we know it? A Saturday evening in April, and amidst tight security, Germany's far-right party, the Alternative for Deutschland, the AfD, kicks off its campaign for the European elections.
200 Millionen Afrikaner bei allem Respekt, aber wäre Europa dann noch Europa?
Support for the AfD exploded during the German national elections 18 months ago. It entered parliament for the first time as Germany's largest opposition party.
Warum wir das müssen, warum wir diese Menschen aufnehmen sollen.
Part of a new wave of nationalism and populism that's spreading across Europe. The party has capitalised on the migrant crisis of 2015 and on Angela Merkel's decision to take in more than 1 million refugees. I'm heading to Leipzig in former East Germany, where the party has the most support.
Julian? Thank you.
Julian runs the youth wing here.
Are these your posters that have been graffitied out on the street?
Deutschland verrecke.
What does that mean?
Die Germany. We have here a big left scene here in Leipzig, and yeah, they don't like us.
We went to the AfD's election launch. Something they said there was that Germany had been colonised by Islam, colonised by Africa. Do you agree with that?
Grundsätzlich schon, ja. Es ist schon so, dass Menschen aus vornehmlich islamischen Ländern hier in dieses Land einwandern, ihren Lebensstil mitbringen und ihn in einer dominanten Art und Weise durchzusetzen versuchen.
Your opponents call you racist.
Nein. Religionszugehörigkeit ist keine Rasse. Der Islam gehört nicht zu Deutschland.
These views make many here bristle. Germans are acutely aware of their past, and some find the parallels deeply troubling. Franziska left the AfD concerned it was becoming more extreme.
The most extreme ideology is that there are good persons and bad persons, not because of their behavior, but of their genetic code. And if you are Arabic, then you are worth less than a good white German.
That ideology exists within the
That
AfD.
ideology dominates the party.
Far-right ideas are gathering momentum in Germany. But what happens when the populists have the power? Hungary is the country so many of these parties look up to. Led for almost a decade by the ardent nationalist Viktor Orbán. Here, EU election posters tell people to support his long-running plan to stop immigration.
Arról rendelkezünk, hogy Európa maradjon-e az európaiaké, vagy adjuk át a helyet egy más kultúrából, más civilizációból.
Instead, Orbán supports large families. Hungarians take their swimming very seriously, few more so than the Gábor family.
Az, hogy gyerekem van, az nyilván életem álma volt.
Mit tudom én,
Ugye 5-szörös olimpiai bajnok legyek, mint Egerszegi Krisztina.
Hogy aranyérmet akarsz?
Ja, igen.
5-szörös aranyérmet.
The family are just as passionate about their government. Orban's party has popular support here in Hungary, an absolute majority in parliament.
Hát ilyen jó kormánya még nem volt az országnak. Olyan borzasztó nehéz helyzetből állította föl ezt az országot oda, ahol tart.
The couple have benefited from a government scheme that gives money to families with 3 children or more.
Adókedvezmények szerintem, ami nagyon fontos. Körülbelül akinek 3 gyereke van, az szinte a bruttó összeget kapja meg. Nagyon könnyű, azért nagyon könnyű itt az élet nekünk, mert szeretjük.
Nagyon fáj a szívem, és nagyon fáj számomra az, hogy látom az országom pusztulását.
The country Orbán built is deeply divided, with the Prime Minister accused of corruption and eroding people's democratic rights. Here in the village of Kubikaza, the mayor is one of the leader's most outspoken critics.
The government has stopped giving you money.
Más településekhez képest elenyésző. Pár évvel ezelőtt volt itt egy államtitkár, és jó tanácsként mondta, hogy fogjam be a számat, és ne beszéljek a kormányról, és akkor lesz pénz. És én pedig mondtam neki, hogy vigye a 30 ezüstjét, nem adom el a lelkemet nekik.
What has Viktor Orbán changed in this country since he took power?
Mindent. Mindent megváltoztatott, és sokkal rosszabb lett minden. A sajtószabadságot felszámolta, a jogintézményeket felszámolta. Szomorú jövőt látok Magyarországon.
Across Europe, far-right populist parties are tapping into a deep-rooted dissatisfaction, appealing to people who feel they've been ignored.
Vahepeal oli kala vähe, siis saigi võetud need lambad. Ehkki kalapüük meeldib palju rohkem, et ei ole nagu lambal. Peale masu mina ei ole veel palgale saanud.
I'm in one of the most rural parts of Estonia. The far-right party EKRA has just surged here in a surprising election, and I've come to meet a farmer and fisherman who voted for them.
Nice to meet you.
Kui sa siin maal elad, et siis nagu natuke midagi kuskilt on puue, et justkui oled natuke rumal, et sa maal elad. Tundub, et minu maaelu probleemidest nagu räägib EKRE kõige rohkem. Ja võib-olla inimesed seda tunnetavad, et ikkagi veel räägin, et nendega räägitakse, et neid kuulatakse.
Life out here jars with the country's recent success. After decades of Soviet rule, Estonia's economy is finally booming, a haven for startups and new technology, liberal values now well established. But today they're being tested. The far-right success has just bought them a place in government, part of a new coalition. Known for their racist remarks, the party campaigned to end same-sex marriage and free abortions. It's attacked doctors, immigrants, judges and journalists. And as its leaders are sworn into power, they give the white nationalist salute.
Are you excited that EKRA is now in government?
Inimesed on nii-öelda väsinud, et need erakonnad kogu aeg lubavad, et ma tegelikult olen aastaid nii-öelda EKRE-d valinud.
On isa tütar.
These nationalist far-right parties are surging across Europe.
When we see them successful in one country, then voters in other countries say, okay, well, if these parties are successful here, then that's fine. They're okay to vote for this so-called domino effect.
And they have a common enemy, the EU. With European elections up ahead, they've sensed an opportunity to work together.
These parties now are saying we want to reform from within. we want to get in the European Parliament in order to change Europe and take Europe to a direction that nationalist parties would be happy with.
They're creating a new far-right bloc in the European Parliament, to be led by Italy's Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini.
In maggio il nostro obiettivo è di essere finalmente forza di cambiamento in Europa. Nuova linfa, nuovo sangue, nuova speranza, nuovo sogno.
Top of the list of things to change, Europe's stance on immigration. Hungary was at the forefront of the refugee crisis as a route into the EU. Most people were just passing through, but within weeks Orbán had built a fence to keep them out. And ever since, migrants have been the enemy here. Still the target in his EU election campaign.
These posters are absolutely everywhere. Voters are being bombarded with this message to stop migration. And this is a country where last year there were fewer than 700 asylum seekers.
Back in the border town of Kubikaza, I'm taken to where the fence begins. Hungary's border with Serbia and Romania. Here it acts as little more than a symbolic gesture.
It's just a step.
A migráció is egy nagyon nagy hazugság volt. Az ellenségkép vizionálás a magyar társadalom égboltjára, ez is egy nagy hazugság. Propaganda TV. This is a propaganda TV. Every day, every minute.
This is state TV.
Yeah.
Most of Hungary's media has some link to the government, and migrant stories are constantly in the news.
Az utóbbi időben volt csak talán, hogy 500 darab médiát vásárolt meg, vagy ilyen-olyan módon kaparintott meg magának a kormány. A kormány tudja a propagandájával súlykolni a magyar társadalmat.
What do you hear on the news about what's happening in Western Europe?
Megérkeztek az emberek tömegesen is, hogy a mi szörnyűségek vannak a településen.
Útnak indulhat a migránskar.
A migráció.
A migránsok.
Migránsok.
Járványokat hordoznak, terroristák vannak közöttük, elveszik a munkánkat.
Ki jogosult belépni.
A nők megerőszakolása, gyilkosságok.
Megerőszakolják a lányainkat, feleségeinket, hogy muzulmán ország leszünk, elveszik a kultúránkat, az európaiságunkat.
Egyszerűen, amikor az ember kinyitja a híreket, én annyira örülök, hogy Magyarországon élek.
Similar messages are being pushed out by populist parties across Europe. When Franziska worked for the AfD in Germany, it was her job to produce this content.
So I was told to do, for example, press informations, and then they say, no, that's not strong enough. Fix it a bit, yeah. So be creative about it. So, and I said, okay, that then it's not correct anymore. Yeah, you will find the solution.
So they know, do they, that they are lying to people?
So the politicians, yes. The members not, and that's the problem. The members are absolutely convinced that everything the AfD tells them is absolutely right.
Some of the information that the AfD has put out on social media channels, particularly when it comes to statistics relating to foreigners or migrants, has been proven to be incorrect.
Also das ist ein Vorwurf, den wir sehr oft hören, und ich wäre eigentlich sehr auf Beispiele gespannt.
There was one which said that migrant rapes in Bavaria had gone up 91% in a year. That was proven to be incorrect.
Okay, es ist...
This here. Rapes increase because of refugees.
Ja gut, ich kenne die statistische Grundlage jetzt natürlich nicht, kann das nicht bewerten, aber wenn die Statistik da falsch ausgelegt worden sein sollte, dann ist es natürlich ein Fehler, der korrigiert gehört. Ja.
Have you ever given out incorrect information to make a political point?
Nein.
In a short space of time, the AfD have changed the conversation around migration in Germany, and there are concerns that this is emboldening more extreme groups.
Nationalist ideas are becoming more and more prominent. It's becoming more and more legitimate to openly express them, and that opens Pandora's box.
This is Alex, an activist for the far-right group in Europe, Generation Identity. While they share the AfD's views on migration, some of their ideas are more extreme. Banned from Facebook, they share their message on YouTube. It's now emerged that the man behind the Christchurch mosque shootings donated to them.
Yesterday we made a video about self-tattooing. It's not looking really pretty, but it's the experience, you know. We say, okay, Germany shall be the country of the natives. Let's start a remigration. That means everybody that is not allowed to be in Germany, then he has to go back.
We're taken to their headquarters.
I'm Jean, nice to meet you.
A democracy can only work if it is largely, if it's ethnic democracy.
What do you mean by that?
That the majority of the people in a democracy have to be of the same cultural background. The people who have always supported us but were scared are slowly now losing the barrier of fear and are coming to us.
Generation Identity is currently being monitored by intelligence services, and I want to ask Alex about his group's links to the New Zealand shootings.
What happened in Christchurch is really terrible. It's got nothing to do with Generation Identity.
But some of the ideas that you promote about migration and about migrants not necessarily belonging, can you not see that they might lead some people to act out violently towards those people?
If a freak takes ideas from every area that he can find, then it's not the idea the problem, it's the freak.
The Hungarian Prime Minister has waged war with the EU. But his nationalist vision for the country is alienating many young Hungarians. In Budapest, I meet up with Bertajin, who's grown up here.
Almost everything went wrong in the last couple of years, you know. I feel frustrated and sad a lot, and that's why, I don't know, I think it's difficult to live here. I have so many friends, and most of them live in Copenhagen, Amsterdam, London.
They've left Hungary?
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of young people have left Hungary since Orbán came to power, and some of the posters in Budapest have been defaced. Stop emigration, they now read.
I'm thinking about moving to another country. I'm actually not considering to raise a kid here.
Hungary is not seen as a democratic country anymore.
Nope. I have my right to vote, but when I go to vote, my vote doesn't work that much. I'm the minority who actually seen the world and knows that things can be different. And I shouldn't be driven away from here.
Recently, I feel that basically the country or the government is forcing me to move somewhere else. But of course, I also care about the country, and I feel like people should also stay here and try to do something.
Europe stands by your side. We stand by your side. You are not alone.
15 years to the day that Hungary joined the EU, and the fight is on. The country has a new young opposition, led by Anna Donath.
We decided to do a march standing up for the values, European values. I wouldn't say we are living in a dictatorship, but I know that there's less and less freedom day by day, because a lot of people living in fear. If they speak up, they're going to lose their job. If they go to a demonstration, their family is going to be harassed, their business is going to be shut down.
We march for progress, for unity. We march for Europe. Let's go.
You know, the key for the populace that they are act upon the fears and emotions of the people, especially those ones who disagree with the system. And you have a right to be afraid, you have a right to hate what's happening around you, but those populist answers will not solve your problems.
Still shaken by the recent election, in Tallinn there's a more gentle protest. Entrepreneur Carolee has staged this concert hoping to heal some of the country's wounds.
What is happening in the world in general is a very strong identity crisis. People who have been more left behind, whose voice actually have not been heard, have somehow found their voice in populism. I think we need to work together, not to oppose and say the 100,000 people who voted for one party somehow made a wrong choices about what drove them there and how to get ourselves back together.
Do you worry that some of the extreme language, the more extreme policies, could be divisive and dangerous for Estonia?
jah, ega nad head ei ole, ütleme lühike vastus. Võivad ohustada. Ta võib lõhestada, jah, ta ei ole hea, kui niisugused kirgi üles köötaks.
As I spend more time with Indrek, it becomes clear he disagrees with some of his party's hardline views.
If you don't like the extreme side of the party and some of the things that it stands for and is doing to Estonia, why do you still support it?
Teatavasti poliitika on poliitika ja nii teistest kui oma erakonnast ma ei mõtle väga hästi.
Much of the support for the far right in Europe began as a protest by those who felt they had nowhere else to turn. But as nationalism gathers momentum across the continent, it threatens to shake the European Union to its core.
The line between what is mainstream and what is extreme is no longer clear-cut. And that is the biggest danger for our liberal democracies today.
How would you like Germany to change?
Ja, natürlich hätte ich Deutschland gerne ein bisschen konservativer und dass Deutschland oder die Deutschen vielleicht auch wieder ein bisschen stolz sind auf Deutschland.
Are you proud to be German?
Ja.
To be, proud about your country is something that for me doesn't make any sense at all. I cannot be proud of that I'm Hungarian because I cannot be proud of I have blue eyes or whatever.
What does it mean to you to be German?
Was heißt es, Deutscher zu sein? Ja, das ist schwierig, da müsste ich drüber nachdenken. Das ist
Igazából, aki szerette a hazáját, az mindig büszke volt rá, csak most már mer is büszkelni, fölmeri emelni a fejét. Jó ez a megfogalmazás, ez a merjünk nagyok lenni.